In January 2026, Amazon sent an internal memo to 30,000 employees, telling them their jobs no longer existed. That's not a typo. 30,000 people gone from the company that once promised it would never stop hiring. For context, that is more people than Apple employs in all of Europe. It happened with no press conference, no dramatic announcement, and almost no public outrage. Most people simply scrolled right past it. This is the story of how Amazon built the most aggressive hiring machine in corporate history, convinced Wall Street it could grow forever, and then spent 3 years quietly dismantling everything it built. And why the silence around all of it might be the most alarming part. To understand what's happening now, you need to understand what Amazon was. Jeff Bezos started the company in 1994, selling books out of a garage. The business plan was simple: sell everything, cheaper than anyone else, and never stop growing. Wall Street hated it. The company did not turn a profit for years. Bezos did not care. He told investors directly that profit was optional. Market share was everything. It worked. Amazon Prime launched in 2005. For $79 a year, members got free 2-day shipping. Analysts called it a gimmick. Instead, it rewired how people shopped. By 2020, there were 200 million Prime members worldwide, spending roughly twice as much as non-members. But the real business was never the boxes. In 2006, Amazon quietly launched AWS, cloud infrastructure that other companies could rent. Microsoft and Google had the same idea. Amazon had the head start. By 2023, AWS alone was generating $90 billion in annual revenue, and nearly 70% of Amazon's total operating profit. The retail business everyone associated with the brand was essentially a loss leader, kept alive by the cloud division underneath it. At its peak, Amazon employed 1.6 million people. It was the second largest private employer in America, behind only Walmart. Then the pandemic happened, and Amazon made the biggest mistake in its history. March 2020. Governments lock down. Physical retail dies overnight. E-commerce explodes. Amazon's revenue jumps 38% in a single year. The company that was already enormous suddenly becomes indispensable. Bezos makes a call: scale up fast. Between 2020 and 2021, Amazon hires 500,000 new employees. They open over 400 new warehouses in 2 years. They launch Amazon Fresh grocery stores, Amazon Go cashierless convenience stores, Amazon Pharmacy, and Amazon Clinic. The future is going to be Amazon-shaped, and they're going to build it before anyone else can. The models inside the company projected the shift to e-commerce was permanent. People who had never ordered groceries online were ordering groceries online. Every data point said this was structural change, not a temporary detour. They were wrong. The pandemic ended. People left their houses. They went back to stores. E-commerce growth slowed, then reversed. The warehouses Amazon had scrambled to build were suddenly half empty. The workers hired to fill them had nothing to fill. What followed was 3 years of damage control, executed quietly enough that most people never connected the dots. In November 2022, 10,000 corporate jobs were eliminated. In January 2023, 18,000 more, the largest layoff in Amazon's history at the time. In 2024, another 14,000 were cut, spread across divisions including Alexa, AWS teams, Twitch, and Amazon Studios. These cuts were not announced in a single memo. They were delivered in waves, department by department, week by week, in a way specifically designed not to generate a single headline. In January 2026, 30,000 more. Added up, Amazon has now cut over 70,000 corporate jobs in 3 years. That is not warehouse workers. That is not delivery drivers. Those are the salaried engineers, product managers, and executives that Amazon spent years recruiting. But the layoffs are only half the story. Amazon Go, the cashierless stores that were supposed to revolutionize retail, are being shut down. All of them. The technology worked. Customers could walk in, grab what they wanted, and walk out without ever touching a register. Amazon called it the future of shopping. The future of shopping did not make money. Amazon Fresh grocery stores opened across the US with the same cashierless technology are being closed or scaled back. The company that was going to eat Walmart's lunch is retreating from physical retail entirely. Alexa, the voice assistant Amazon spent over $20 billion developing over a decade, has been quietly sidelined. The product that was supposed to be in every home, running every smart appliance, controlling every room, lost the AI race to ChatGPT before it ever reached its potential. The teams that built it have been gutted. One by one, the bets that were supposed to define Amazon's next decade are being unwound. What's left standing? AWS and Amazon's advertising business. The advertising business generated over $50 billion in 2024, and almost nobody talks about it. Between those two, Amazon prints money. Everything else, the grocery stores, the devices, the cashierless checkout, the voice assistants, was an experiment. The experiments are over. So why is nobody talking about this? Partly because Amazon is masterful at controlling narratives. The 30,000 figure never appeared in a single press release. It accumulated across SEC filings and analyst calls, written in language specifically designed to minimize alarm. Workforce optimization, strategic realignment, words engineered to be forgettable, partly because the stock kept climbing. When the share price goes up, hard questions get buried. Investors do not interrogate headcount decisions when quarterly numbers beat expectations. The financial press celebrates the profit and ignores the people, and partly because we have been numbed by scale. 30,000 sounds enormous, but we have heard enormous numbers so often that they stop registering. Boeing, Intel, company after company announces 5-figure layoffs. The news cycle runs for 48 hours and then it is gone. But 30,000 people is not an abstraction. It is a software engineer who relocated their family for an Amazon offer, now updating their LinkedIn at midnight. A product manager who spent 5 years building a feature that was just canceled. A recruiter who helped hire thousands of people, now one of the thousands being let go. The macro story is corporate strategy. The human story is something else entirely. So what does this tell us? 3 things. First, growth hides everything, until it does not. For 20 years, Amazon's answer to every problem was scale. Hire more, build more, enter more markets. Growth was both the strategy and the defense. The moment growth slowed, every decision made during the expansion had to be re-examined. 70,000 jobs in 3 years is what re-examination looks like at Amazon's size. The company did not fail. It just ran out of room to hide its mistakes behind the next quarter's numbers. Second, AI is not creating the jobs it is eliminating. Amazon is not just cutting to cut, they are actively rebuilding operations around automation and AI. Warehouses are being retrofitted with robotic systems. Customer service functions are being replaced with language models. Corporate roles are being consolidated through tools that do in seconds what teams of analysts once did in weeks. The jobs being eliminated are not coming back in their original form. They are coming back as fewer positions, different skills, different economics. Every company watching Amazon right now is running the same calculation on their own headcount. Third, Amazon has finally decided what it actually is. For 2 decades, the brand identity was the everything store. Everything was fair game. Every market, every category, every idea. That era is over. Andy Jassy, who took over from Bezos in 2021, is running a fundamentally different company. One that has looked at its portfolio and made a cold decision. AWS and advertising are the business. Everything else was exploration. The exploration phase is done. What remains is a company with 2 extraordinary assets, stripping away the cost of everything that was not working, and focused entirely on defending those 2 positions against Microsoft, Google, and whoever comes next. Bezos used to say Amazon was always day one, always a startup, always hungry. The company being built right now is something different. It is leaner, colder, and more deliberate than any version of Amazon that came before it. The everything store still sells everything, but it no longer needs everyone. 30,000 people found that out in January 2026. For the employees who remain, it may be the most formidable version of Amazon ever assembled. For the ones who do not, it is the end of a promise made in a moment of panic and quietly retracted when the panic passed. The everything store is still here. It just decided you are not part of everything anymore.